Every avatar, Krishna, Jesus, even Buddha, and all the other avatars, and forms of God, they all have this warrior function. It's not usually their main function, but they all have this warrior function. Kali is especially like a warrior goddess. So she's not the best example, but even Ganesha, the elephant god of the intellect, of study, of removing obstacles, he has a mace. Shiva has a Trishula, trident, so does Kali also has a trident, Trishula, and she also has a sword. But even in the stories of like Jesus going into the temple and kicking out the money changers, that's a warrior function. That's an addition to his character. The reason why gods, goddesses, avatars have this function is because to exist in this world, we have to have a warrior function. That has to be part of us to carve a place for ourselves in this world, to greet challenges with bravery rather than shrinking away, to greet no matter what kind of obstacle it is with a degree of bravery that is like a warrior in our own ways. Jesus didn't go around slaying people or didn't carry weapons around, but he still had to kick the money changers out of the temple to make a point, and that was him being a warrior. It's a lesson, and with all of these avatars and all of these gods and goddesses, it's a lesson that to exist in this world, this terrible world, this brutal world, this world that is not just going to give way for us. In order for us to overcome challenges and obstacles, we have to have a warrior function. We have to embrace that part of ourselves at certain times and in certain ways. Now, everybody can be a warrior in their own right. They don't have to wield weapons. They don't have to go into physical battle per se. But we all have to have a function that has bravery, that allows us to meet this world on its own terms, its own terrible terms. How we can all be a warrior in this world is that we can view ourselves as finding a place for ourselves in this world. And that requires a significant amount of bravery. Most of us, I would say all human beings, have to bravely find a place for themselves in this world. Find a way that connects with this world, that meets it on its terms, as I said. Now, in order to find a place for ourselves in this world, most of us, we kind of find this or that job, this or that career, and reach a certain understanding of how to be in this world so that we can make a place for ourselves in this world. If you feel like you haven't found a place for yourself in this world, it probably means you're serving that function right now. You're just serving it in a way that is searching. Camus, the philosopher, French philosopher, writing a lot of his works around the 1940s, he was an absurdist, one of the founding members of the absurdist philosophy. And that philosophy said that there is no true purpose in this world. We can't find true purpose, but we have to search regardless. This is a very warrior-like philosophy, if we really look at it. To understand that there is no final battle. There are daily battles. Daily trying to find purpose, find meaning. Never finding it completely. Never completely becoming ourselves, but becoming better and better. Failing in some ways, failing at some battles, and then achieving greatness in other battles. The little day-to-day battles that we go through. When we feel very sad one day, yet we continue to do what we have to do. Or perhaps we kind of give up for that day, call into work, or don't fulfill our responsibilities with our families or friends or for ourselves. But we can get back up the next day. We can choose to be a warrior the next day and accomplish all the tasks that we have to accomplish. And we continually do that. It's all these little braveries that I see this warrior nature in everyone. Not an especially violent warrior nature, but one that is willing to meet the responsibilities and achieve them day to day, even when we're depressed, even when we're sad, even when we don't want to, even when it's all very overwhelming. Or perhaps we have a really bad day where we blow up on somebody, we get really angry, and we say something, we do something, and we fail in that battle. We might win as far as aggression goes, but we still were defeated. We still either surrendered or were defeated in those little battles where we kind of failed. But we can get back up the next day. Now, going back to absurdism, the whole point of one of Camus' chief books, The Myth of Sisyphus. And Sisyphus is that Greek god that was cursed by Zeus. Sisyphus was a man. I was thinking of someone else. But Sisyphus, he was cursed to roll a boulder up a hill again and again. And every time he would roll near the top, it would roll back down upon him. And he'd be pushed all the way back down the hill. And then, he'd have to roll it back up again and again. And right before it reaches the precipice, it'd roll back down. And he'd have to start over. Now, the whole point of The Myth of Sisyphus by Camus is to realize that the way to exist as an absurdist, to realize that all of this world is absurd, is to try to imagine Sisyphus as happy rolling that boulder up the hill and knowing that it's going to roll back down, but rolling it back up anyway, but being happy with the task of never completely accomplishing his mission, never completely accomplishing what he has to do, but doing it every day, cursed to do it again and again and again, rolling that boulder up the hill. And it's hard to roll that boulder up every day. It's difficult. But if you can find a way to be happy, to find joy, and not just in the little joys, those two, the little joys of life, but to be happy with the struggle of life, to be happy rolling that boulder again and again, accomplishing all your responsibilities, failing sometimes, the boulder comes back down, but rolling it back up again, and knowing that there's no one responsibility that you meet that will get rid of all responsibilities and that's it. You don't have any more responsibilities. You don't have any more tasks to do. The tasks are done. Until we die, that's not the case. There's always more tasks to do. There's more things to do, even if it's something as simple as getting up and bathing and having a day off that's somewhat productive. You do basic human things. Go grocery shopping. Accomplish those tasks. All those tasks are little efforts of rolling that boulder back up that hill. If we can imagine Sisyphus as being happy, we can find a way to be happy with all our tasks, with all our difficulties, with all those fears in the background that we have, all those anxieties. But being able to embrace those and in a way to enjoy the busyness, enjoy the struggle. Now, just because, I said that there's, this might be an absurd world and there's no absolute purpose that is satisfactory. Almost like there's no tasks that once completed, it ends all tasks, besides becoming enlightened or reaching moksha, liberation. It's designed that way. The reason it's designed that way is because if there was one purpose, if there was just one truth, if there was just one thing that we had to do or we had to be in order to achieve that one purpose that we all had, then there would be no free will. There would be no choosing your purpose for a life. There would be no embracing and finding your own truth and embracing that. It would be, this is the one truth and you have to achieve it. You have to follow that truth. You have to accomplish this task. You have to realize this thing. The purposelessness of this world and being a human being, it's not because God or the gods are cruel. It's so that we can choose that purpose for ourselves. We can choose our task. We can choose our truth. And it's just as right as every other one. And yet, as we learn, as we grow, as we become wiser, it starts to change. Our purpose changes a little bit. Our truth changes a little bit. And our tasks change a little bit. because we start to become a part of a grander perspective that we slowly grow into bit by bit. And that's why we keep growing throughout our lives as human beings. We keep on growing and keep on realizing that, oh, I didn't have it quite right. But, okay, make a little adjustment. Okay, now I'm on course again. Oh, the North Star is a little bit off to the west. Another course correction. All these little course corrections as we sail over the ocean of life. We never completely are on course the whole time. Purpose, truth, it's never just one way and then we're satisfied with it for the rest of our life. If we plan on growing anyway, it never remains the exact same. Embrace not knowing, but trying regardless. Believing, but not knowing. Understanding being limited, yet understanding somewhat. And changing based on the growing understanding that grows into higher and higher degrees of wisdom, at least hopefully. Unless we fail a lot and then our wisdom decreases, but even then we can get back up. We can embrace a warrior mentality. We can embrace our own Sisyphus journey and be happy with that boulder just never quite getting to the top. We all need that warrior function to bravely do this, to bravely find a place in this world, but never being quite right. Maybe we want something more for our kids, we want something more for ourselves, so we budget differently. So we work more hours at our job, or we change jobs, and that in-between point where we're afraid we might not find a good job that we as good a one as we had, or a better job, or we weren't studying the right thing in school. So we have to either start over or kind of course correct in our curriculum. This whole time, while we're doing all of this, we have to bring ourselves back to realizing the absurdity of this world, yet the power of being able to choose our own purpose as we progress. At any rate, this has been a video a little bit about being a spiritual warrior, a warrior in this world, without necessarily being violent. And I'd say usually violence is a failure, but restraint and discipline are remarkable strengths that we can embrace every day. All the little strengths and discipline, and being proud of ourselves for that. At any rate, that has been this video. Thank you very much for watching. Feel free to like this video, it really helps out the channel. Feel free to share this wherever you like. At any rate, thank you very much for watching, and hope all of you have a wonderful day.